Hey Patriots, got another video for you, completing the square again. So the last video I made, we did this example, and now I'm going to move over to this one here. Zoom in a little bit. All right, so our equation is x squared plus 12x equals -8. All right, x squared plus 12x equals -8. So normally we would have to divide to get the x squared term to have a coefficient of 1, but that's already there. And then we'd have to either add or subtract to isolate the constant, which has already been done. So like the last video, this one is kind of already partially done for us, like some of the steps. And so we're just going to go right into representing both sides of the equation using an area model. All right, so x squared plus 12x, if I divide my area model into 4 boxes, right, x squared would go there, 12x is going to be split evenly into these 2 boxes, so we'll have 6x and 6x, okay? And then -8 has to take up the same region of space in our other area model. Okay, so these kind of 3 boxes will merge together and be represented by -8. All right, so now we can start kind of preemptively factoring or just finding the dimensions of the first area model. So we would have dimensions of x and x around that first box, dimensions of x and 6 for the second box, dimensions of x and 6 again for the third box. And now we will complete the square, because if this dimension is 6 and this dimension is 6, well, then this box is a product of 36. Okay. And to be fair, if we complete the square over here, we need to complete the square over here to keep them equal. So this will be 36 as well. All right, we'll represent the first area model by its dimensions, x plus 6 by x plus 6. X plus 6, x plus 6. And then we'll represent the second area model just by its sum. 36 and -8, I believe, is 28. All right, we've got repeated multiplication here. So we'll represent that using an exponent, x plus 6 squared equals 28. And then now we're going to start using inverse operations. Okay. Square root both sides. Okay. So the square root and the second power cancel each other out. So now we've got just x plus 6. And then over here, we're going to have, well, we can write it as plus or minus root 28. But we can simplify this radical, right? 28, just going to put a little thought bubble over here. 28 is what, 4 times 7, so I can write this as root 4 times root 7, right? And if you don't believe me, right, let's just use a calculator. Okay. The square root of 28 is approximately 5.29, and the square root of 4 times the square root of 7, don't know what happened there, is also 5.29. So you can factor radicals just like you factor integers. Now, why would I factor it like this? Well, because 4 is a perfect square, then I can get an integer out of that. So the square root of 4 is 2, and 7 is a prime number, and so we'll just leave it as radical. So remember, radicals come in pairs, positives and negatives. So we're going to have plus or minus 2 root 7. All right. At this point, I'm going to split it into 2 separate equations. We'll write it as x plus 6 equals the positive 2 root 7 value, and then x plus 6 is equal to negative 2 root 7. All right, so now let's subtract 6 from both sides. in both equations. Plus and minus 6 are opposites. They're both integers. They cancel each other out. So we've got x. Okay. And then here, you can't combine these, right? 2 root 7 is still a radical, right? 7's the radical, has a coefficient of 2. And then negative 6 is an integer. Okay, so we cannot combine these. We have to write them as separate terms. So we'll write the integer term first, negative 6, and then we'll write the radical term afterwards. Okay, so that's negative 6 plus 2 root 7. And then over here, we're going to have x, because the 6's cancel, equals negative 6 minus 2 root 7. All right. So those are the two solutions. Again, these solutions are in radical form. Okay. You can use a calculator, though, to estimate them both as decimals. Okay. Negative 6 plus 2 root 7 is about negative 0.708. So x is approximately 0.708. And then, oh, sorry, you can't even see my calculator screen. There it goes. And then let's estimate this one, negative 6 minus 2 root 7. So that's approximately 11.292. Yeah. All right, so yeah, you can represent the answer two ways. Leave it in radical form, or I personally prefer seeing things in decimal form. I can wrap my head around what these values are. I can tell that this is a very small value close to 0. I can tell that's a pretty big value far away from 0. So yeah.